What is going on, everybody? Sports Expert here, and we are here with Week 2 NFL picks. But before we start the video, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, turn on the post notification bell, like the video, comment what you think. I would really appreciate that. We're going to be doing a lot of NFL content on this channel, and we do picks videos every week. So let's get right into it. So Thursday Night Football, it will be the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins in Miami. So both teams are coming off nice comeback wins, The Bills' offense really looked much better in the second half, and the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill was able to get it going in that game. So, who do I think is going to win this game? I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills in this one. 26-24 would be my prediction. I'm going to I'm going to trust Josh Allen in Miami. I think he will outplay Tua. I just think the Bills can overwhelm that Dolphins team that is kind of up and down. It just feels like the Buffalo Bills will have more of that winning pedigree. But, the Dolphins have playmakers. They can always, run away with the game at some point. But I think the Buffalo Bills are going to show something. I think a guy like Keon Coleman, who emerged week 1, I think he could take a step forward. Khalil Shakur's been solid. So, yeah, Josh Allen will just have to keep doing his thing, and the Bills have a good chance in this one. We've got the New Orleans Saints at the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys coming off a huge win against the Cleveland Browns. And then we have the New Orleans Saints coming off a huge win against the Carolina Panthers. This one's in Dallas, and I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys to win this one at home, 30-17. Yeah, the Saints played really well against the Carolina Panthers. Not a great team, of course. And the Cowboys played much better against maybe not much better, but they played against a better team in the Cleveland Browns and were able to just stomp them. It was just one of those days for the Browns. And the Cowboys, were able to take advantage. And I think they're going to win this one 30-17. The defense looks real. Micah Parsons, wreaked havoc once again. And Trayvon Diggs looked really good in his return from ACL. This could be a competitive game, but I think the Cowboys run away with it. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. We're going to have a rematch of the 2024 NFC Divisional Playoffs. A very good game in that case. Of Baker Mayfield versus Jared Goff again. So the Detroit Lions coming off a nice comeback win against the Los Angeles Rams, and the Buccaneers coming off a nice statement win against the Washington Commanders. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win this game 28-20. I do think the Lions, that I think their playmaking will outdo Tampa, especially at home at Ford Field. That'll help. Especially a guy like Jared Goff who really likes to play there. Jameson Williams had a huge game. If he keeps playing like that, the Lions are going to be pretty tough to beat this year in any game. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still there. Sam Laporta. So, Jahmyr Gibbs. They have guys. David Montgomery, can't forget him. Went off in overtime last night. So, the Detroit Lions will be looking to win this game. And I think they're going to 28-20. I think Baker will play fine, but I think the Lions will play better down the stretch. Okay, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers coming off a tough loss, a couple losses really. They lost Jordan Love for 3 to 6 weeks due to an MCL sprain. And then you have the Indianapolis Colts coming off a tough loss, close loss at home against the Houston Texans. My Super Bowl pick to start the season. So I'm going to take the Colts this one on the road, 23-16. It looks like Malik Willis will get the start this week for the Green Bay Packers. And it's just one of those things where I'm just not going to be able to trust the Green Bay Pack. Malik Willis, can we trust him with this offense? I don't see it. The Indianapolis Colts, they should be able to, run the football fine. And, if they can take time of possession, it shouldn't be an issue for them as long as they get points along with it. Anthony Richardson looks solid. He's a really nice young talent, but I just don't know about the Green Bay Packers in this game. It's just a lot of questions. And they were my pick to make the NFC Championship this year, but a lot of questions without Jordan Love. We have the New York Jets versus the Tennessee Titans in this game. So the Jets have not played yet. They will play tonight against the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. And then we'll have the Tennessee Titans. They had a massive choke against the Chicago Bears. But the Titans win a lot of home games. They make statements at home. And I feel like this could be a statement they make against the New York Jets at home. I'm going to take the Titans to this one 21-18. I think Will Levis is going to be motivated to step up and bounce back right away, and Brian Callahan will make sure of it. I really like that coaching staff at the Tennessee Titans. They brought in Bill Callahan. Looks like he's done a nice job so far. It's just this game could go either way, but I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans. They might be a slight underdog, but we'll see. We We have the San Francisco 49ers, the Minnesota Vikings. Once again, the 49ers play tonight, so they haven't played yet. But the Minnesota Vikings are coming off a dominant 28-6 road win against the New York Giants, who I believe are probably the worst team in football, them or Carolina. So the San Francisco 49ers, it's just looking at it, they have the better team than the Minnesota Vikings. And Kyle Shanahan also knows Sam Darnold. So, I mean, Sam Darnold may know the system for the Vikings. I don't know if that would give him too much of an advantage, but there's also kind of an advantage there with Kyle Shanahan knowing Sam Darnold more than most coaches in the league, as he was a part of the franchise last season. I just think with the talent the 49ers have, I think they'll have the advantage in this game, and I think they win comfortably 33-17. I don't even know if this game's going to be close at all. I think the 49ers just roll the whole time. Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. The Patriots are coming off a great upset win at the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, they had some troubles early on with T. Higgins being out and Jamar Chase being up and down with the contract situation. That didn't help. A lot of distractions for the Bengals this offseason. Then you have the Seattle Seahawks coming off a nice home win against the Denver Broncos, 26-20. Defense looked pretty good. So I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one, 24-20. I think the defense will do its job in the end. And when it comes to needing a much needed score in the fourth quarter or later on in the game, I think I trust the Seattle Seahawks to get that done with Geno Smith and company. You know, maybe a guy like DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett can make a play downfield. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one, 24-20. We have the New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. What a football game this is. Yay. So, you know, two of the bottom feeders in the NFC East facing off in Washington. You know, I'm going to take the Commanders in this one, 14-10. Going to be a low-scoring game, I believe. Jaden Daniels will have his growing pains. Daniel Jones is just not it right now. So I don't know if that neck injury ruined him or not, but it just feels like he's not a very good quarterback at this rate. So give me the Commanders in this one, 14-10. It's going to be a defensive battle. Both teams will be struggling to score points. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that game. Jaden Daniels looked good in his first game, but I don't know. We have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Carolina Panthers. You know, the Panthers, maybe they can bounce back and win at home after a tough loss against the Saints. And the Chargers are coming off a comeback win against the Raiders. Not their greatest performance, but it was a win. Win's a win. So, Justin Herbert versus Bryce Young. I think Justin Herbert's clearly the better quarterback, and I think the Chargers are going to win because of that. You know, the receiving corps is pretty nasty and not in a good way, so that may not help. I think the Carolina Panthers do make this game close, but I think the Chargers pull away in the end. What I saw from the Panthers week one, I can't really put any faith in them right now to win a football game until they show something. So it's kind of what I'm looking at there. This might be actually a pretty good week to pick a Panthers upset, but at the same time, it's just really tough. The turnovers were a mess. The defense was a mess. It's just, if the Chargers can dominate time of possession, they should have a pretty good chance of winning this game. We have the Cleveland Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, the Browns are coming off a blowout loss at home against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Jaguars are coming off a pretty tough loss against the Miami Dolphins. Pretty heartbreaking with the Travis Etienne fumble there. That would have made it 24-7. They probably would have won the game against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take the Jaguars at home in this one, 23-20. They're going to be motivated to bounce back. I don't know if that's going to hurt them mentally, but, you know, the Browns didn't have a great game themselves. It's just one of those things where the Jaguars, they'll go home, bounce back, make a statement for their fans, and outlast this Cleveland Browns offense, which is clearly handicapped. I was saying before the season, I don't think the Browns can contend this year just because they don't have the pieces on offense to, you know, they don't have the quarterback. The offensive line is banged up. You know, Amari Cooper's aging. David Njoku, I think, might be their best player on the offense right now, and he's now out with a high ankle sprain. There's just not a lot with this Browns offense right now. The run game is poor, so give me the Jaguars. Raiders at the Ravens. You know, the Ravens coming off a tough loss against the Chiefs. Isaiah Likely's foot was out. The Las Vegas Raiders, you know, coming off a loss against the Chargers. The Raiders aren't a very good team. I did pick them to finish second in the AFC West, but that doesn't say a lot. The AFC West is terrible outside of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Baltimore Ravens roll easy in this one. I don't see them starting 0-2 with a loss against the Raiders at home. 27-9. Lamar Jackson does this thing. He doesn't play great. He plays like a game manager. Nothing wrong with that against the Raiders. It should be enough. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams are coming off a tough loss at the Detroit Lions in overtime. Well, the Arizona Cardinals are coming off a tough loss at Buffalo. I think both offenses are going to make a statement here. I think Matthew Stafford played fantastic against the Detroit Lions. This is going to be in another dome as well in Arizona. You know, Kyler Murray played really well against Buffalo. I think if the Cardinals can get Marvin Harrison Jr. more involved in the second game, I think that'll be a big implement to their offense. So I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one in a shootout, 34-28. I think this is going to be a great football game between two really good quarterbacks in Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford. I know a lot of people question the quarterback play nowadays, but I do think those are two very good quarterbacks in this league. So if there's one issue I do have with the Rams, they are down a couple offensive linemen. They're down Joe Noteboom, Ron Havenstein, and Steve Avila, their second round pick from 2023. And now they're down Puka Nacua possibly too due to a knee injury. So I don't love the Cardinals defense though, so I do think the Rams can go out there and score some points. But the way I look at it, I think it's just the Cardinals will be able to outscore. I think them being at home the environment, they're more used to it. I think that's going to be a huge advantage there. So give me the Cardinals in this one. I think Kyler Murray makes the big plays while Matthew Stafford has chances, but just not enough pieces on offense, despite Cooper Kupp being there. All right, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos probably not going to be a great football team this year, coming off a loss on the road at Seattle. And the Steelers are coming off a nice win on the road against the Falcons, the only team in the AFC North to win this week. But I'm going to take the Denver Broncos in this one, 24-17. I think Sean Payton cooks up a pretty good game plan against Mike Tomlin and company. Although the Steelers, they won, they didn't look great. The Falcons just looked really bad. I mean, the offensive line was terrible for the Falcons. Kirk Cousins couldn't do anything. I do think the Denver Broncos, they might not be a great team, but I do think they're going to find a way. I think that Colorado advantage, that the mile high, as they say, I think the Broncos are going to take advantage of that. I think it's going to be a long day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 24-17 Broncos is my prediction. I'm going to trust Bo Nix here. Shout out to Alpha Mills, Colby Anderson, Lyric Preacher, Vincenzo Augustino, and Coleman McKinney. So, yeah. And Jeffrey Gravel. All right, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, should they win? Yes. I mean, the Bengals, they're just taking a step back. They took a step back last year. I know Burrow was hurt, but it wasn't absolutely spectacular. And he had a pretty poor game against the New England Patriots. It's just not ideal. And going into Arrowhead week 2 after a crummy loss, that's not the ideal way to bounce back. I just don't know. Zach Taylor's going to have to cook up a perfect game plan. I just don't see it happening that way. I do think the game will be close towards the end, but I think the Chiefs will end up pulling away with a couple first downs. A guy like Travis Kelce or Rashee Rice will make plays down the field, and it'll be okay for the Chiefs. All right, we have Sunday Night Football between the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. The Bears coming off a great comeback win against the Titans due to special teams and defense. Caleb Williams struggled, but it's going to happen in his first start. And then the Houston Texans coming off a nice win against the Colts. Another terrific performance from C.J. Stroud, my MVP pick coming into the season. He might be the best quarterback in football. Patrick Mahomes is great, but I think C.J. Stroud might honestly be the best quarterback in the league right now. He's that good. He's what Joe Burrow should be. That's how I see it right now. What Joe Burrow should be is what C.J. Stroud is doing right now. And Joe Burrow just hasn't shown that the last couple seasons. But let's get on to this game, the Bears and Texans. The Texans are at home in this one. It's going to be a great atmosphere there at NRG Stadium. I don't know if it's still called that, but yeah. But I think the Chicago Bears are going to struggle offensively once again. It's going to take time with the Bears. They have a lot of talent on offense, but I do think it's going to take time to gel with a rookie quarterback that wasn't fully NFL ready. He had the talent to be great in the NFL, but any evaluator could have said he wasn't going to be 100% NFL ready coming into week 1. It's going to take a few weeks for Caleb Williams to step in there and do something absolutely phenomenal. If he has a phenomenal game here, I'll eat my crow, but I'm going to take the Texans in this one in a low-scoring game. Their defense will show up. I think the Bears' defense will play well enough to win this game, but I think the Texans will have enough firepower on offense to outscore the Bears. And then for the last game of the week, Monday Night Football, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Kirk Cousins, week 2, prime time against the Eagles. Don't think the odds for him having a great game are ideal. We had Vikings-Eagles a couple years ago in Monday Night Football. He struggled mightily. I think it's going to be similar to that again. I think Kirk Cousins is going to struggle again. And then the agendas on Twitter, the outrage is going to be crazy about how they paid him so much money, $100 million guaranteed, just to draft Michael Penix 8th overall, an older quarterback in the first round. So it's just not an ideal situation for the Falcons. It might be in Kirk Cousins' head that Michael Penix was drafted, and that could hurt a quarterback's mental. Especially with Penix being older, I'm just not sure why the Falcons drafted a quarterback in this class. It just isn't the most ideal situation. But the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they played really well on offense against the Green Bay Packers. Granted, the Green Bay Packers defense can be up and down, but I'm going to take the Eagles in this one 23-13. I think the Falcons defense will play okay, but I just don't think it'll be good enough. I think they'll be a bit gassed. I just don't, because I don't see the Falcons offense doing a whole lot in this game, despite the Eagles defense looking up and down against the Packers. Although the Packers do have a better offense than the Falcons, and the field conditions in Brazil weren't ideal. So I just don't know about the Falcons. I don't know if Drake London and Darnell Mooney can stretch the field consistently. Hey, fantasy owners, Kyle Pitts had a touchdown, so be happy about that. But the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts didn't have a great game versus the Packers, but did enough. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith stepped up big time, and I think the run game should get going. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles in this one, 23-13. So those are my Week 2 NFL picks. I appreciate everyone being here, Sports Expert. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Turn on the post notification bell. Like the video. Comment what you think. I would appreciate it, guys. Sports Expert. I'm out, guys. Peace.